Hey, my Her Renewed Mind community. I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so pumped to have, I'm going to say my coach, my coach, Lisa A. Smith on the podcast. Lisa, welcome to Her Renewed Mind.
Hello, Dr. Candice. Hello, audience. It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so grateful. I'm going to do a brief intro and then I want Coach, I'm just calling Coach Lisa, to share more about who she is and what she does. But my life, and I told her this right before we hit record, my life has been radically transformed by, I'm going to say, being connected with you, Coach, even though I haven't met you in person, but I look forward. Okay, I'm making plans, like literally looking at flights to meet you in person in January. So we will get into all that. But I have to shout out a dear sister friend of mine, Sharon Rochelle Thomas, who
Mm,
is a part of the community. I had her on a Zoom gathering, I think in April, and she was sharing about her health journey, what she
mm.
had going on, the radical steps of obedience that she was taking. And she was like, Coach Lisa A. Smith. So then I went, because I'm a researcher, like as she was talking, I remember sitting right here. I went to my phone and I looked you up. I've started following your podcast and I'm like, okay, she's not playing. She is not playing. And I thank God for your voice in my life
Mm,
because literally it was like, okay, Kim, you gotta stop making excuses.
mm.
You gotta stop, well, talk about it, but then also be about it. And so I joined the challenge in July. I know I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself, but I want to give you your flowers and just say thank you for the gift that you are. Am I about to cry?
Wow.
Okay. Seriously.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much. And that's all that happens when radical obedience collides. I made a decision many years ago to wake up every day and give God a return on his investment. And magic happens when other individuals are just as obedient. And so when obedience collides, we have moments like this. And so it's a pleasure.
Thank you. Okay.
Yes.
We're gonna pull it in. My tissue is somewhere down here, but I'll grab it shortly. I'm like, what is going on? But I'm just grateful. So thank you. And I would
Yes.
love for you to share. And actually, my sisters who've been rocking with me have heard me talk about you. I have put your links in my show notes as I talked about and shared where I was in my health journey. But those who don't know you or want to know more about you, please share who you are and what you do.
Yeah, it'll be my pleasure. So, my name is Lisa Angel Smith, and I am a coach. I've been in the coaching industry for the past 10 years. My company has been in business for the past 10 years, the Plant Protocol. And our mission overall is actually to extend the healthy life expectancy of marginalized communities. And we do that through health coaching by helping people use a whole food plant-based lifestyle to optimize their health. We do that through professional development coaching, individuals who are interested in activating radical obedience themselves through entrepreneurship. And then we also do that through personal development coaching. And that's me really helping people to reset their mindset and, most importantly, their beliefs around their circumstances. And so, in the coaching space, I've been blessed to service thousands of people over the last decade. And I wake up every day so grateful to be able to walk in my purpose, to do the work that I feel called to do, that I feel completely aligned with. And it has been a joy of my life, and I look forward to doing it for many, many more years. So that's who I am.
So good. Oh, so good. Listen, I already said a whole lot about how meeting you and just your voice and what you have to give has totally transformed my life. And like you said, thousands, you've been doing it. You've been doing this work.
Yes.
You've been doing this work. And so thank you for showing up and showing up well and helping to radically transform others so then they can go and do the work that God has called them
That's it.
to do, which is amazing. So I love for you. And I want to say, I heard you say this when you were on the podcast with ET, that what you teach, I mean, you just said it, like you've walked through, you've done it, right? So you are an expert because you've experienced it. So
Yes.
I'd love for you to talk about the moment, or maybe it was a series of moments that led you to radically, let's talk about the eating habits.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Let's do it.
led you to radically change how you were moving in terms of your health and eating.
Absolutely. So many years ago, before I became a full-time entrepreneur in the health and wellness space, I was a social worker. That was my first like real adult job out of college. And I was in the foster care space. So I was responsible for reuniting children with their biological parents after they have been taken out the home from Child Protective Services. And during that time, I was overweight. I have not been overweight my entire life, though. So I was really lean throughout my high school years. But when I got in college, I began to gain weight. And so as I'm working as a social worker, I'm overweight, insecure in my body, not confident in my body, didn't have body confidence. And the job also triggered a lot of anxiety as well. When you're working with the court systems and you're working with families and you're working with children, and so many sensitive subjects, so many moving pieces, our caseloads were too high at the time. And there were, as you can imagine, a lot of unhealthy eating habits, constantly working, but then also the anxiousness that would come up for me around going to court and working with families that were sometimes hostile, blaming us for taking their kids. And so there were a lot of things that came with being a social worker in the foster care space. And I remember walking into the break room one day, Candace, and Tiffany was making a parfait, blueberries, yogurt, and granola.
Mhm.
And I noticed that she would eat that every morning. And Tiffany was ripped, right? Calf muscle. She had her little skirt on, her arms out. She just moved with purpose and looked amazing doing it. And so I asked her, like, do you eat the same things every day? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, tell me more. And turns out she's a personal trainer. She ended up being my first personal trainer. And so in January of 2012, I hired Tiffany to begin the weight loss journey. I was over 60 pounds overweight at the time, and I'm 5'8", and she helped me lose my first 30 pounds. And that was the first domino that knocked down a series of dominoes that led to decisions that landed me where I am today. But it all started, everything that I do today, helping other individuals realize their power, get their confidence back, believe in themselves, eliminate imposter syndrome, start their own coaching businesses and their speaking careers. All of that started with me losing over 60 pounds and gaining a ton of confidence,
Yeah.
right? It was just moving the needle in that first year alone. I started with Tiffany in January. By the fall of that year, I was giving the state of Michigan my letter of resignation, right? And I don't think that's a coincidence that,
Right.
I started taking care of myself, getting that mental clarity, and then decided to take bigger chances on myself. And so that's how this all started.
So good. Do you still
Yeah.
have contact with Tiffany? Do you, your
Tiffany
first
works for
person?
me today.
Ah, I love it.
Tiffany is on the team today. She's our director of operations. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. So I've seen her name. Okay. I
Yes.
love that.
Yes,
I
Tiffany
love
is amazing. I mean, we obviously have a professional relationship, but
that.
personal as well. She's a friend, and it really it was a game changer.
Mhm.
She invited me into her world. She could have decided to keep it low key because we were working at a job together, and she low key had another job as a personal trainer,
Right.
which is what she really loved, right? Health and wellness. And she decided to invite me into that world, and I took her up on her invitation.
Yeah, and look at you all now years later. I think
Yes.
that's so powerful. The power of those connections. It was a divine moment. Would you say the break room? And she's just going about her day, making
Yes.
a parfait. I
Yes.
love that. That's a whole nother episode, right? I love those divine connections. It really does
Yes.
take community, right, to help us move forward into, really endless possibilities, with our life. So that's a treasure. Shout out to Tiffany.
Yes. She's going to love that when she hears this. She's going to love it. Yes.
I
Yes. She's
love it.
amazing.
I
She's a
love
great person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Tiffany. Thank you, Tiffany. It's so good. So good. I love those origin stories. So, and to continue to talk about what life looked like, you talked a little bit about it before the transformation, physically, mentally, spiritually. Was there a breaking point for you?
Yeah. So I love this question so much because I've been asked it before. And I've also heard when other people are sharing their transformations in our community, other people ask them, what was your breaking point? And it's a very interesting question to me because there's a built-in bias in the question, right?
Mm,
Which is that there was a breaking point in the first place,
mm,
right?
mm,
And this question is so provocative to me that I actually wrote about it in the book that I'm currently writing about radical obedience. And here's the invitation to people listening because I didn't have a breaking point, Candace. I
mm,
didn't, right? When I took Tiffany up on her offer to start personal training, I wasn't at a low point, so to speak. I wasn't at my wit's end. I wasn't on my last straw. The job wasn't on my last nerve. Like, it wasn't like, this is it. Something has to change or I'm going to lose my mind, right? I didn't have a big incident. I hadn't experienced a big loss that, snapped me back to reality. I didn't have a breaking point. It was just like, you eat that every day? I'm interested in losing weight. But I wasn't, if I'm being honest,
Yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
circumstances were not dire. And so when I hear somebody ask somebody else, whoa, you did something big, like
Mhm.
leaving a 9 to 5 with benefits and a 401k and a retirement plan and opportunities for upward mobility just to go work an unpaid internship in another country that was temporary. What was your breaking point? Or when I hear people in our community ask, courageous women things like, whoa, you left a 20, 30-year relationship or marriage? Like, what was your breaking point? There's this assumption in this question that you only move boldly
Mhm.
when you are at a point of no return.
Yeah.
There's an assumption in this question that the only way you can conjure up enough courage and belief and confidence to leave something that appears secure
Mhm.
or that other people might judge you for is that you have to be almost out of your mind to do it.
Hmm.
And the invitation that I want to make to people listening is that if you know you are in a circumstance right now, whether it be in your health, your career, a relationship, in your finances, in your spiritual or personal growth that is not optimal, but you're currently calling it not that bad, that is an invitation to start crafting an exit strategy. Why does it have to get that bad before you make bold decisions? So, Candace, I didn't have a breaking point, and I would encourage everybody who are not completely fulfilled in a certain area of their life to make changes today before there is one.
Yeah. Ooh, well, there you go.
Yeah.
That is so good.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome because we stay in situation. We literally prolong discomfort and until it turns into like a giant red flag where it's you can't take the pain anymore because we're just like, well, my relationship or my marriage isn't this, but it's not that bad. Or, yeah, okay, I got 10 pounds to lose. And then we compare ourselves to other people. And, well, at least I'm not that bad, or I know I have an unhealthy relationship with a substance, right? I know I don't have self-control when it comes to this sugar or this alcohol or these potato chips or this fast food. But at least I try and eat vegetables and I take my supplements. I'm not that bad. Like there's yellow flags in your life right now
Mm.
that you're deciding to wait till they become a red flag before you do something. So I would love for every none of us to ever have a breaking point again
Yeah. Yeah.
and still be bold enough to make hard decisions.
Yeah. What do you think, and even with you working with individuals over these, decades, is the reason why, and I'll say we want to stay comfortable, and we're okay with those yellow flags.
Yeah. Yeah. It's hard decisions, doing hard things has to be dependent on your beliefs beforehand. So, in order to do a hard thing like, hey, I'm leaving my 9 to 5 and I'm about to go move to Rome, Italy, and I'm going to work this unpaid internship and I don't know what I'm going to do for money. And I'm going to cash out my 401k just to fund my life in Italy for this unpaid internship, right? That sounds so audacious to people.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Or, I was engaged to be married at one point and we'd been together, I don't know, 11, 12 years. And I returned the ring and walked away. Right. Now, there was no big blow up argument. There wasn't a big thing. It wasn't like this extreme dysfunction. It was like, oh, we're not really aligned.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And we're still cool today. Right. And so it is the belief, Candace, that it's not safe to fill in the blank. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not happy in this relationship. I know this isn't my forever person, or I know we've grown apart so much that it's probably not repairable, right? It's not reconcilable. Or I'm in this job and I'm no longer fulfilled, or I don't feel like I'm appreciated, or I don't feel purposeful and I want to go do meaningful work elsewhere. But the reason that we ignore those yellow flags is because we have a belief that it's not safe. It's not safe to leave this job where I have a guaranteed paycheck or a retirement. It's not safe to leave a relationship at my age. Yes, the kids are grown, but everybody say, date the date pool is full of so it's going to be too hard to find somebody, or it's too late for me, or I can't find love again, or I'm not confident enough. The underlying belief that causes us to ignore yellow flags is it's not safe.
Yeah.
I got too much debt. It's not safe to save money. Every penny needs to go towards liabilities, right? It's not safe to get into therapy and really start unpacking and healing from this thing that I haven't worked through yet, because that's going to trigger this, and I might have to, contact other people that were involved, and that's going to blow it up, or blow the family up, or blow my life up, and it's just not safe to go there. And so we really have to question our own beliefs. What are you believing that's informing your decision to not make tough decisions?
Two thoughts came to mind as you were speaking, and I also am, like, as you're speaking, thinking about me and the
Yes.
decisions that I've made and where I've been, right? Like,
Yep.
too comfortable. And I wrote down addicted to comfort.
Yes.
And then I wrote down fear of the unknown, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're talking about safety,
Yes.
right? And and I'll just talk about me, like, I'm comfortable here because this is predictable.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to get this check every 2 weeks, right? I know what to expect from this relationship. I know
Yes.
how they move. So it's like, I have this neat little box, and
Yeah.
in that control.
Yes. This is so good. So you just said the C word, honey, control. Okay. So listen, Candace,
Okay, coach.
every bold thing that I've done in my life, and I've done a bold thing in my health, which is lose over 60 pounds, decide to go whole food, plant-based vegan as a little Black girl from Detroit. Like, we don't do that. I've left a long-term relationship. I have left a 9 to 5 working for, the state government that was full of benefits and a retirement fund and opportunities for corporate mobility. And then I've also done the hard work of getting into therapy, because of the abandonment of my biological father, and healing from that, and also hiring a private investigator to find him and going through all of that process, right? So in the healing space, in the health space, in the career space, and in the relational space, I've made some big, big leaps,
Mm-hmm.
right? And every single one of those require me to be willing to relinquish control. You're 100% right that we stay in comfort zones because when we feel like we can control the mechanism, we feel safer.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the truth is, we rarely have as much control as we think we have, right? But what we're saying is, if I breach this difficult subject with my partner, I then lose control because I don't know how he's going or she's going to respond.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. And so I can't control what happens if I bring this topic up, and that scares me. So I'm just going to continue to mute myself.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I can't, I don't know. I know I don't feel right in my body. I know something is off. But if I go to this doctor and let them start running tests, I don't know what's on the other side. This might blow my whole world up. And then I lose control.
Yeah.
Right? Like, if I decide to start putting myself out there like God told me to do years ago, and start the podcast, write the book, start the business, start the YouTube channel, start using my voice and my story to serve others, I don't know how the public is going to respond. I don't know how I'll be received. And the loss of that control makes me nervous. And so I will continue to be disobedient to God.
Mm-hmm.
So this concept of control has caused so much disobedience for
Mm-hmm.
so many of us. And the shift here is, you afraid of what's going to happen on the other side of that hard conversation or those blood tests. You really should be afraid of the consequences of disobedience.
Right. Yeah.
That's what we should really be afraid of. And so, and the truth of the matter is, there's very rarely as much safety as we think it is.
Yeah.
And we need to understand that unknown is simply unfamiliar. And
Hmm.
unfamiliar is not good or bad. It's just unfamiliar.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're familiar with what you do in a 9 to 5. You're unfamiliar
Right.
of the mechanisms of entrepreneurship. And so that scares you. But it's not, that doesn't make it hard. That doesn't mean there's a guaranteed failure. That just means it's unfamiliar. I don't know how to work for myself.
Right.
And so when we start understanding that unfamiliar is such a temporary place,
Yeah. Oh my.
everything's unfamiliar until we do it enough time and it becomes
Come on. Like
familiar.
riding a bike, right?
That's it.
Oh my goodness. So there's different thoughts, but what I will say is, as you were speaking, I was actually listening to a teaching earlier this morning as I was at the gym. Hey, I was like, I gotta get it in. I'm talking to coach. I gotta continue to be consistent in this gym every day.
That's right.
So, but she shared, you cannot fix what you don't face.
Yeah.
And so what I appreciate about you, Coach Lisa, even in
Yeah.
our, conversation right now and through your podcast, your Instagram, how you show
Yes.
up online and how do you teach, is that you cause people, us to think about what we have going on, and also another thought is coming is that when we are able to steward our health and get that mental clarity, then we can face and not avoid what we are not trying to, what we need to fix.
Yes. You better say it. Let me tell you something. Avoidance is such a played out approach to life. Like you still avoiding stuff. That's played out. You know what I'm saying? At this point, like you super grown. It's time to start facing stuff.
Yeah.
It's time to start admitting where you need to work on some things. Like stop avoidance is played out. I don't even know if people still say that, but it is. Like we growing through stuff now. Like we holding space for emotions now. We've been in therapy for a couple of decades now. Like we still avoiding stuff. What are we doing? And so, making kind of light of it, but avoidance really is a very dangerous approach to things that you are triggered by, right? Because we feel the triggers. We often feel the triggers, but it scares us sometimes. Like, I don't want to go there. I don't want to touch that. And so we opt into avoidance, right? And for most of us, it's just a stress response.
Yeah.
Right, it's just a stress response, and it's okay. And so there's nothing that says you have to move at a certain speed or that this you got to lead a 9 to 5 today, but you can't continue to practice the act of avoiding things that are going on, right? So we got to be very careful with that.
Yeah. So good. So good. I want to go back to, I'm thinking about when you left your 9 to 5. Can you talk about any mindset shifts that you had to make in doing that? Like, okay, I'm
Yeah.
going to move forward and be obedient.
Yeah.
What is in my heart to do?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, let me be really honest with your audience about my personality style, right? Because I don't want to come on here and portray as if it takes me like that I'm a person who takes a long time to make decisions or that, I sit with stuff and I get in my feelings for a long time. That's not my natural personality style. So I want to I understand a lot of people struggle with indecisiveness. I understand a lot of people struggle with fear. I understand a lot of people struggle with I'm not enough and all of the above, right? And so I don't want to portray as if this was super hard for me because Candace, it wasn't super hard, if I'm being honest. Okay. So when I left my 9 to 5, when I gave them my letter of resignation in the fall of 2012, it was because I had decided I had lost this weight so far. I had lost 30 pounds so far. I went on to lose another 35. And I had decided that I really wanted to see the world. And I was like just super curious about cultures and seeing the world. I love traveling.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, how can I have a job that allows me to see the world and I'm also being paid? And so I learned about the federal government, State Department, and you could apply for like these internships to go work at embassies across the world. And so at the time, I applied for this internship and you got to pick like your top 3 choices for cities. And I got my first choice. Now, not only did I get the internship, I got my first choice, which was Rome, Italy, right? Now, to be honest with you, initially the plan wasn't to quit the job. I just wanted to take a leave of absence because the internship was 10 weeks.
Okay.
And so I went to my job and I said, hey, I got this opportunity abroad. It's working at the United States Embassy for 10 weeks. Can you hold my job? I don't want to be paid. I don't want to use my time, but I just want to be guaranteed that I'll have my position when I get back. So that was the original plan.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me like, well, what are you going to do? And I told them, and they were like, well, because what you're going to do in that internship, we don't believe will give you a skill or benefit to make your work here better. We're not going to guarantee you your job. So it was in that moment where I had to make a decision. Do I quit and take a chance? And at the end of 10 weeks, don't know what I'm going to do for work, for money, anything, or do I stay and stay safe? So you guys know how it ended, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm nervous. Like, what should I do? Like, okay, I'm worried about being homeless. Like, no, I'm the classic case of leap and the net will appear.
Yeah.
And I didn't sit on my, like, I had to give the State Department my decision because they had to start doing this extensive background check on me. And so I'm like, well, I'm out of here. And so it was like that. It wasn't like hard, boo hoo. Yeah, it was very
Right.
much, yeah, lose
Like
my
paying
number.
Walmart in peace.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I said earlier, like I don't want to give the impression that I had a breaking point. I didn't. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I was trying to keep my job. Like, oh,
Yeah.
let me, because I enjoyed at that time, by that time, I had a role in Oakland County foster care that only one person has in the county, which was called MYOI, which meant I was responsible for teaching life skills to teenage foster care students, foster kids, excuse me. And so I enjoy, and once a month they came to the office and I was able to just kick you with them and get to know them and, make them feel good about themselves. And so I actually didn't even hate my job that much. Right. So I just left because I wanted to see the world more, but not because I was miserable.
Yeah. So good.
Yeah.
So good. I love that so much. And even what you're doing now, right? Like you're kicking it. And I can tell you're very relational.
Yes.
So I've seen seeds of that, like what you were doing with those, with the students there, the young people there, is translated into what you're doing now. I think that's so
Yeah.
powerful.
Thank you.
And you traveling the world. Come on, somebody. Weren't you just? I'm trying to remember. Oh, I think you had a podcast episode that was the UK
In Jamaica.
or in Jamaica.
Oh, UK was yesterday. Yeah. So I know this is the end of December, but when we recorded this about a month ago, yes, I had to do a feature. I was featured on a morning show in the UK. It was like they stream live on YouTube. And yeah, so like I have turns out, so look, I looked at my Instagram metrics like last year, and I was surprised to find that I had a really big following in the UK. And so then somebody reached out to me. He DM'd me like, "Yo, when are you gonna be? Are you gonna be in London anytime soon?" And I'm like, "As of right now, no." And he was like, "We would love to get you in the studio and interview you." And I was like, well, I don't have any travel plans. And so that was that. And then he'll check back in a couple months later and I don't have any travel plans. And finally he was like, well, let's just do it virtual. Right. And so that's what happened at the beginning of this month. And the beginning of December, I was able to get interviewed in the UK. And now I got to make a visit over the pond because I got a big audience over there. So what up though?
Absolutely. Listen, they're ready for you.
Yes.
Ready with open arms. Let's talk about what you teach as far as eliminating, not managing. Okay,
Yes.
you say that a lot in the classes that I've taken when I did the challenge back in July, and that was I, I don't think I heard it quite that way before. So
Yes.
I appreciate that because a lot of times we think that we go to the doctor, right? We're given diagnosis, right? And
Yep.
here's
Yep.
how you can manage what you have going on. But the
Yes.
truth is, it can be eliminated. And so you pound that in, and I receive it, and we receive it, and I pray that our viewers and listeners are receiving that now. But what do you believe is the root cause of many in struggling with that? Eliminating chronic, whether it's chronic stress or any lifestyle disease they've been diagnosed with.
Yeah, two things. We didn't even know it was a thing we could consider. So, one of the things that I teach, just to reiterate, is that we have to stop managing conditions that are reversible. When we get diagnosed with something like high blood pressure, or when we're overweight, or we are dealing with chronic stress, most of us, we just re like resort to an elimination lifestyle, or excuse me, a management lifestyle. So we're like, okay, I got this now. Let me manage my numbers. Let me make sure I wear my monitor. Let me make sure I take my medication on time every day. Like we are great managers of disease. Phenomenal. Right? We're great managers of chronic stress. All of these conditions that has been shortening our life expectancy for years, right, has killed many people that we know, right? Whether it be from heart attacks or strokes or different types of cancer or just literally stress, burnout, right? And we are only taught management. So I believe one reason we continue to management is because many of us have never even entertained elimination. Like, wait, I can eliminate chronic stress. I never even our mind don't even go there. Wait, I can eliminate high blood pressure. I can eliminate high cholesterol. I can eliminate type 2 diabetes. Yes, you don't have to manage it for 10, 15, 20 years. And so it's usually just this is an exposure issue. There's a lack of an exposure to all of my options. It's like going to the doctor and they never tell you there's foods you can eat to lower this. They only tell you about medication, right? And so if you've never been exposed to other options, then you're going to only use the ones you've heard of. So I believe it's an exposure issue. And by the time, individuals listen to, me, usually they're like, this is a brand new concept. Like I never even entertained the idea that I don't have to just manage these things that are stressing me out.
Yeah.
But elimination comes with some bigger decisions, some bigger leaps, some tougher moves, right? You're going to have to give up all the cookies, not just
That was,
moderate them. Yeah, you're going to have to give up all the junk if you want elimination. It is a different protocol,
yeah.
okay? But people need to know it's possible and people need to know all of their options.
Yeah, so good. So good.
Yeah.
I'm a witness to that. Okay. I am definitely a witness. I'm so tickled because I think with my family over Thanksgiving, right? Like, of course, over Thanksgiving, such a celebrated holiday. And in my family, like so many, I mean, the food is the centerpiece, right? Like we're thankful for the food, right? We go around a circle and it's not just kids saying what they're thankful for. The adults, I'm thankful for this good food, right? And so I'm talking about the things that I've been doing. And of course, plenty were like, I can't do that. I can't have that crumble cake. What you eat, Candace? It's been fun.
Yes.
It's fun because
Yes.
I'm surprised myself. I'm like, yeah. Oh
It's
my,
a real thing. It's a real thing.
it is, but it is possible. It
Yes.
is possible. And just the transformation. I think the biggest piece is the clarity of mind that comes, particularly around eliminating sugar, because that had been a struggle for me for a
Yeah.
really long time. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
there's another way. There's a better way.
there's a better way. Sugar is so dangerous. Oh, refined processed sugar is so dangerous. And so when people are struggling in their health, from the neck down or the neck up, so this includes mental health, this includes things like dementia, Alzheimer's, MS, all type of things, or neurological challenges. When we're struggling, it pains me to hear people say they're moderating.
Mm,
It pains me, Candace, because I'm like, wait, your body and your mind are already compromised. You're not in prevention. You've graduated, to combating. You're not in prevention. You've graduated to combat. You're combating something now. When you graduate to having to combat something, the whole protocol changes.
mm,
Moderation is off the table. What makes you think you can still afford to eat the same things that contributed to the diagnosis in the first place? You think reducing it by a small amount is enough to combat it? It's enough to manage it.
yeah,
It's not enough to combat it. And so I want people to understand how toxic a lot of the stuff is that we're consuming, and sugar is at the top of the list for your brain, for your body. It's so toxic. And so if you are combating something, you're going to have to shift your whole approach. Moderation is not available.
mm. Oh, that's why your voice is so needed because
Yeah.
people don't know they're
Yeah.
hearing this for the very, very first time. And I'm grateful for this platform to be able to share it with even more that, this is what's really going on when you decide to eat certain foods,
Yes.
right? That
It changes the game.
exposure. It does. Oh, it's wow. Oh my goodness. Every time you speak, Coach Lisa, and just how you move. It's with a spirit of excellence. And I know our viewers and listeners are receiving that. They are. Like it's just it's a conviction really that you have. And I love, and that's why when I first listened to it, I was like, oh, okay, come at me because she's not playing. I need it. That's what's needed. So again, I can't say thank you enough. But how did pursuing excellence and wellness impact? How has it impacted your life, your business, and your purpose?
Oh, it is my purpose. It's literally giving me a reason to wake up every day.
Mm,
Right? So, starting with my own health, who knew that it was going to turn into me literally running my own company and inviting people to a similar experience? I'm like, yo, this is crazy. I thought I was just trying to, become a snack, right? And I done turned into a snack, gave
taking
up
us
snacks.
all together. Okay, we all
You
been.
hear me? Oh, because like Candace, I didn't even know that speaking was my gift until I started my company in 2015. And at that time, we were called Fit Camp 360. And we had our one of our first in-person events. And we invited, other people out to speak and share and stuff. And at the end of that event, my closest friend was like, speaking is your gift. And I was like, really? And she's like, yes. And I've been honing it ever since. So it revealed my gift, this health and wellness journey, right? It has given me a purpose to live. It has helped me break free from a sugar addiction. Like, I didn't give up sugar because I was afraid of gaining my weight back. I gave up sugar because I was losing my memory on stage when I spoke.
Mm,
So this assignment
come on.
freed me and it repaired my relationship with food.
Mm,
And I was so worried about somebody asking me a question and I couldn't access the answer, not because I didn't know it, but because I just had to have a donut yesterday.
mm,
Right. And so this health and wellness journey it started with me. And now I have literally thousands of receipts behind me of people I've been able to impact because I was obedient enough
mm.
to do the work. So the impact is immeasurable.
Yeah, yeah, your yes has legs. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yeah, your yes causes other people's yes to come to fruition. So, so good. And you've been speaking to, of course, our audience already, but for someone who's listening and they're like, okay, coach, okay, Dr. Candace, I hear y'all, but I am stuck. I can't, there's that can't word that they're using in unhealthy patterns. What is something simple that they could do today?
Mm-hmm. Latch on to a possibility model immediately. So, a possibility model is someone who has done or experienced that which you're trying to accomplish, right? So, if you're trying to lose weight, they've done it. If you're trying to start a business, they've done it. If you're trying to write a book, they are successful. And a lot of times we can't move or we can't make significant side steps because we don't have anyone who can help see our blind spots and who can model the blueprint for us. And so I believe one of my claims to fame over the last decade has been attaching myself to coaches and mentors and possibility models who are a walking testimony of what's possible when you do the hard things. So, I mean, it's my coach is the number one motivational speaker in the world, Dr. Eric Thomas, right? I mean, he's not just my coach, we are friends. Like, we pray for each other, like, we send in voice notes, like, it's a real thing, right? And I know his mentorship and his guidance, along with everyone else who I have intentionally increased my proximity to, have played such a huge role in my ability to move through discomfort, fear, scarcity mindset, all of that stuff. And so for someone who's listening is like it's hard. I hear you. It makes a lot of sense, but it's so hard and I'm so scared. I would say allow someone else to let you borrow their belief. You're not a believer right now. You're not a believer right now, and that's okay, right? You want to believe it'll work out. You want to believe this time it'll be different, but it's hard, right? So that means you have to take a loan out. You have to borrow someone else's belief. And then here's what I like about this loan. When you borrow somebody else's belief, like the bill never comes due. Like when you attach yourself to the right person, their belief bank account is overflowing so much that they never miss it.
Come
So
on.
you can come in our 30-day vegan challenge. You can come and work with us, and I'm gonna believe for you so much that we can reverse that diabetes. I'm gonna believe for you so much that we can free you from depression. I'm gonna believe so much that we can help with your fertility issues. That once you borrow my belief, I'm not even gonna come knocking on your door 6 months
Man,
from now. You
come on.
can take, it's not even a loan, actually. Let me just bless you with belief. Because the thing that is keeping most people stuck is they just lack belief. They don't believe it's possible, or they don't believe it's possible for them. And so get you a possibility model who already believes and let them believe for the both of y'all.
Come on, pass the offering plate, y'all. Listen, well, sisters, here is your possibility model right here. Okay. Listen, and I'm latched on. I want to look, I'm reaching over this way because you're on my left side of the screen, coach. But I'm like, I'm latched on. Listen,
Good. I got you. Wait a minute. It's supposed to be my
okay.
other hand. Okay, there we go.
Other hand, other hand.
Is that right?
Oh, the other hand.
Shoot.
On my screen is we latched on y'all. And I'm extending my hand out for you all. My those who know, you know. If not, if this is your first time listening, you can latch on to this community right here. I'm telling you. So, Coach Lisa, we're at the end of December.
Yes.
We're at the end of December. And what I love also about, I'm gonna talk specifically about the 30-day vegan salt, oil, and sugar-free challenge, is the ramp up
Yeah.
before. Right.
Yes.
And so you have been teaching, you have been pouring out, but it's not too late for
Mm.
not just sisters to join, but the brothers. We want the
Oh,
brothers.
yeah.
It's open for everybody to
It is.
join as well. So can you talk about, I know it's December 29th today. So
Yeah.
can you talk about the 30-day vegan challenge?
Yes, man. I love our challenge so much because it gives me the opportunity to do my favorite thing with permission, which is yell at y'all. Right.
Ah!
I love snatching y'all edges. I love pearl clutching. I love wait a minute who she thinks she talking to. You know what I'm saying? Because we so sassy, right? We want to change our lives, but watch the way you talk to me, right? And so I love our challenge because I get to be lightweight, reckless. So while I'm helping you to lose weight, get the numbers down, feel better, sleep better, eliminate stress. And so I like to say the challenge is for y'all, but low key, it's just for me, just to get my fix, okay?
Hold on, let me stop you, coach. And I know I'm just getting to know you. You're always snatching edges. What do you mean?
I'm saying, but the challenge is different because we live twice a week,
Okay,
every
okay.
Wednesday, every
It's
Saturday.
more snatching.
It's more snatching. It's more snatching. Like we gonna put the edge control business out of business, edge control industry. Because bring your edge control, okay? So our 30-day vegan challenge is designed for individuals who are really battling a chronic health challenge. So this can be anything from being overweight to an autoimmune condition to mental health challenges to cancer to reproductive health challenges. Right? You're just in a place where, and it might not be a diagnosis. It might just like I'm tired all the time and I don't know why. I have chronic headaches, I have these aches and pains. I have these gut and stomach issues, like nothing's settling well or digesting well. Right. And it's our opportunity to expose individuals to the power of plants. So, how can we use food as medicine? So, during our 30 days, or for January, 31 days with us, you will be giving up salt, oil, and sugar in addition to meat, eggs, dairy, and seafood. And that is a huge undertaking, right? So if someone is just discovering me or just discovering the challenge,
Yeah.
we're starting in a couple of days on January 1, but we've had prep classes since October, right? So we do a prep class every month leading up to the challenge to prepare people for this undertaking because I'm not under the impression that it's easy. I'm just under the impression that it's necessary because many of us are really believing that moderation is an approach that we could realistically use to feel better. And the truth of the matter is, again, it's going to help you manage your condition, but it's not going to do much to put it in remission. And so, along myself and along with my team of coaches, I have a team of 5, and we all escort hundreds of people during this time to eating like they got some sense,
Yeah.
right? And that's what it really boils down to. Like the things we're putting in our body, the things we're consuming mentally and physically are informing our future health status. And so if you want to look, feel and be different January of 2027 than you start January of 2026,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so this is your opportunity to make a choice for the future version of you,
Yeah.
right? And so, and we can do that quickly. What I really love is like, Candace, usually about 2 weeks into the challenge, like it don't take the whole 31 days.
Mm.
2 weeks into the challenge, people are coming to class like, dude, the mental clarity is crazy. Like the divine downloads is insane. Like, wait a minute, I see my waist coming in. Y'all know how we act when our waist start coming back in. So it really gets crazy. No behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's amazing. And then this particular challenge is super special for two reasons. The first is I'm doing it alongside John Lewis, also known as the Badass Vegan, right? And John has been a vegan for over 20 years. And I really asked him, like, I want to really appeal to the men because our men struggle a lot with their health and sometimes they're too stubborn to make significant changes. And I know typically, the person who cooks the food in the household has all the power over the health of everyone in the household. And so whether the man or the woman is the cook, I want the household to change. And so I invited John to join me in this challenge. And so me and John are co-facilitating for this month of January. And together, right, we're going to appeal to the women, we're going to appeal to the men, and we're going to help you guys see how making bigger changes than maybe what you're used to. So, not just moderation, not using this, well, I'm transitioning language and all the language we use to keep eating foolishness. We're going to help you guys make bigger leaps toward optimal health because the final thing I'll say is most people think when they start on a health journey that getting healthy, whatever that means to you, losing weight, getting off of medication, whatever, is the finish line. Like you start thinking the goal is to get healthy. And you don't realize that you're so behind that once you get healthy, lose the weight, get off the medication, start feeling better, you're just now approaching the starting line. That is not the finish line. Getting healthy is the starting line to living a life of radical obedience, doing what you're being called to do. Like that book you want to write, that, social media channel that you want to get off the ground, that nonprofit, those kids you want to be in service to, that love, that serendipitous love you want to find. Getting healthy is the starting line. It's not the finish line. So catch up. Catch up, mustard. Yeah.
Yeah. There you have it. Thank you, Coach Lisa. How can our viewers and listeners sign up for the challenge, get connected with what you have going on? Because you have other programs that you facilitate as well. So please.
Yeah, absolutely. So start with the challenge. Start with the challenge. That'll be lisaangelsmith.com/challenge. I'm sure Candace will link it in the show notes, but lisaangelsmith.com/challenge. Get registered. The challenge is complimentary. You do have the option to upgrade to VIP and get a private coaching session with me and a whole host of other perks. Oh, and the other thing about this one, Candace, is that we have meal delivery. So for our first time in our challenge history, we're actually providing whole food, plant-based, vegan, salt, oil, and sugar-free meals to your doorstep for 3 weeks within the challenge. So you have the option. It's optional to if you're like, this is too intimidating for me in the kitchen, and I need help with seeing what recipes can be like and taste like. Of course, we have a whole recipe book, but also if you don't want to do the cooking, you have the option of getting your meals delivered to you. So
The
lisaangelsmith.com forward
menu,
slash challenge.
menu is menuing, okay?
Yes, thank you.
Oh my gosh. I was like,
Thank you.
yeah,
Oh,
it's
we knew who our audience was. I was like, look, we got to make this look good, okay? So I'm excited about that. And so you go there, you register. Like I said, it's complimentary. Upgrading is optional, and you join us in the challenge. I'll be live teaching every Wednesday evening and Saturday morning. Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern, Wednesday evening at 6 p.m. Eastern. And then for those who like do the work and just want to celebrate at the end, we're doing a whole in-person celebration in Fort Lauderdale, Florida on January 31st. And so I'm excited about that as well. We all get to meet and hug in person. I can finally stop yelling at y'all and hug on y'all and love on y'all. So it's exciting.
I think it's gonna be a little bit of both, but hey, no, this is a celebration. Oh my goodness, Coach Lisa, thank you so much
My
for
pleasure.
time with us today. It has been amazing. And thank you to our listeners, our viewers. Like Coach Lisa said, I'll have her information linked in the show notes and in the description on YouTube so you all can connect and join us. I'm in. I am in. I'm in. I do plan to upgrade to VIP because it's time for that front row behavior. Okay.
Yes.
But join us. It's going to be amazing. And it's just going to be beyond what you can even expect.
It
So,
is.
Coach Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
And until next time, peace.